Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to Film 1!
This Walsh.
High energy back in New York. Happy New Year, pod.
Happy New Well, it's New Year's Eve pod.
Yeah, when it comes out, it'll be the new year for some of the world and not the other of the world.
Yeah.
And it'll be New Year's Eve for the other part of the world.
Yeah.
And we're fine today.
Hopefully we don't have to compromise the pod for your vacation schedule, your very busy vacation schedule. But we'll see.
Yeah, thank you
We'll
for
see.
covering some live streams and doing a solo Patreon episode.
Yeah.
You're great. Backup.
Maybe you'll go to North Korea next where you also won't have Discord access. We'll see.
Dude, how crazy. I still think it's like
it's
fucking
not that
bonkers.
crazy. I mean,
It's pretty
look at where you're
crazy.
going. You're not going to fucking,
I know, but everything
France
else
or something.
pretty much worked. Even on VPN, I was streaming on Pisscock. I was VPNing, nothing. And then Discord, VPN, NordVPN, all the shit. They'll do anything but let Discord in that country.
Well,
The worst thing ever.
You can't spark a riot on Pisscock. You can on Discord. That's all they give. That's all they give a shit about. So
Yeah, there's no group discussion, group thing, group action.
no
On
chatting.
Pisscock.
No
No chatting
chatting.
in the pisser.
Oh god. So another game week nearly in the books. We have one more game on Wednesday. I always thought someone would. I don't even understand why this is happening. I guess to give New Year's Day entertainment when everyone's
I
kind of
pointed
like.
this out last pod. I was looking at the schedule. I was like, what the actual fuck is
Yeah.
this? We're potting on a Monday, and we're not going to know the fucking points that our players got until Wednesday night. Or we're potting, Tuesday morning, but we're not going to know the points until Wednesday night because they have to recalculate all the fucking bones and random menu as just like a given and all this bullshit. Well,
Yeah.
what the fuck are we doing here?
A lot of action.
A lot of fucking action.
Lot of
But
action.
Really, really goddamn dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are, back in action. Oh man. So what's up with Team Walsh here?
It was pretty good, I think. I'm maybe going to get a green arrow by a small margin. I mean, where it's similar
Depending
to last
on what
week, where
happens.
it's just like it doesn't feel like anything matters, and everyone gets the same points, and I barely can change rank at all, no matter what. So, 74 with Odegaard to play.
Yeah, I guess people on like big greens are in the mid to high 80s because I'm just looking at the Pod Boys League. Derek's on 87 and Guest is on 85. So that must be, kind of the big green range, and you're just kind of in the middling gray range or whatever. Small green.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's having one extra guy that got points versus like me with sitting here with Enzo or what, some idiots that just keep blanking their lives away.
Anderson 0, Castagna 1.
Well, Anderson,
Enzo 1.
0, but I'll get Hudson off the bench for Anderson 0 auto sub. Let's go.
Flying.
Yeah, Castan was close to points again with assistings, but didn't happen. Huge scene for me to get 2 points from goalkeeper instead of 0. That really turned my game week around. That tipped the scale big time. Big time
transfer.
tip.
Big transfer.
Big transfer.
Plus
Dean
2.
Hendo. 2 save, 2 point special. We have to have a name for that. The 2.1 goal conceded, 2 save for a goalkeeper. We need to come up with something.
If we were Bill Simmons, it would already have a name, but we need to come up with a name.
Yeah.
I might even do research into like how often this happens. I can do that.
Yeah, Cousin Sal would have had a nickname for this in 5 seconds.
For sure. But it would be like a 1980s wrestling reference that we wouldn't even understand.
It's like, it's the Goldfarb move.
It's the big Sultan. It's the big Sultan. Remember his finishing move? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But
yeah, so
74.
Holland got points. Isak got points as usual. João Ladro holding felt nice. People were really panicking with him, and it's kind of. And I was telling everyone that would on the live stream to get rid of NDOT. I don't know if they did or not, but that was a familiar topic. And Chelsea shitting the bed. But Enzo's. We'll talk about him. But
the only thing that feathers you,
best player in the game,
Lewis Hall,
Lewis HAUL.
He'll come up in the meat of the pod in a little bit, but he's been absolutely insane for you. Yeah, I was going to say the only thing that absolutely murders you is an Arsenal clean.
Yeah, and that'll happen, of course.
That turns your small green into a red, 100%.
Yeah, that'll come in for sure. There's no way Brownhammer's scoring.
And when we talk about red arrows, we got to talk about Alon's team here.
Yeah, well, you're just perennial red arrow with no Mo, so.
Perennial red arrow, no Mo. If Palmer did literally anything, I think I'd probably be on a green or like a small green. Considering I had so many points everywhere else on my team. I picked
every single other guy.
Pickford and Palmer, my only blankers, and I'm on a red. Yeah. Because Mo's just that good, and everyone captained him.
And you miss Cap, yeah.
Yeah, miss Cap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a late Jota goal. I got an early Diaz goal. I got a Rodgers 11-pointer, Trent 15-pointer, Holland and Pedro you mentioned. Pickford with a rare 1-pointer.
You still have your 3 Arsenal guys, Jesus, Gab, and Timber.
Still have 3 Arsenal guys, so anything could happen. But yeah, I mean, the most annoying thing, because I missed 75% of the games. I missed all of the Monday games too. I was on the plane. And I see Rodgers fucking mega haul, and then I see he's suspended for home Leicester, and I'm just like, you fucking dick.
Well, that's a blessing in disguise for you, because maybe you'll actually not bench Milinkovic fucking like an idiot.
Well, I'd rather bench Milinkovic 6-pointer than I'd rather get 11 from Rodgers. Everyone that I would have benched Milinkovic for either matched him in Jota or passed him and everyone else.
Dude, you've benched him 4 straight, and he's just returned every single week.
I know, but I was right this week. look at my team.
Well, could have benched Palmer.
And maybe Timber won't play or something fucking randomly like that.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what's been happening. And obviously it's lucky when you get bench points, but like I have him for a reason, and I've been getting some bench points lately. So yeah, long may it continue. But
Greaves coming in.
Greaves. Mega Hall Greaves.
Easy.
Great player. I actually joked to you about bench boosting because fucking Stoll is now the keeper for Leicester. I would have gotten a fucking plus 15.
15? Yeah, that's 15 on bench is good.
15's good.
But you're never predicting a Greaves clean against Chelsea.
Ipswich clean, against Chelsea.
So I mean, if that went the way it should usually go, then it would have been a clean and 3 blanks, which would have, a 1-pointer from Smith Rowe, yeah.
Yeah. League updates. So we're in the middle of the game week, as we mentioned before, so we won't know until the end. But as of right now, Amol still in first place, aka Jota catch 'em all, which is so good. He's on 478 points. He has Timber and Gabriel. I don't think he's catchable. Second place, Jack Baxendale, aka Holland Odes, on 462 points. He has Raya, Gabriel, and Odegaard. And then big Ben Martins, aka a third PB&J, on 460 points. He has Raya, Timber, Gabriel left, so he's dying for an Arsenal clean. Someone else could break in, if they have like different Arsenal guys, or Saliba or Kai or Jesus or some shit, or Bumo, I guess. But like that's probably your top 3 there. So great job by all of you. We'll update that later.
Tall Benny with the polos coming on live stream. We talked about multiple scenarios, and he did nothing that we talked about and just brought Eze in. I was like, what
really?
The fuck is this? Yeah, it was very wild out there.
Genius. I mean, great job by him. He was... Let's see here. He was 4.3 million in Game Week 13. He's 1 million now, so pretty good.
Yeah, when you're that tall.
If you're that tall, yeah.
And then shout out to
shout out to the public week leader, Matt Allen, aka Jefferson Airplane. GW. All right, Game Week 20. On to Game Week 20, rather. Where should we begin here?
Well, you watched one game, so why don't we talk about that one? Your team.
I watched Liverpool. Absolutely. It's more of a West Ham what the fuck. I only listened to a bit of the review show on Anfield Rap. I don't know if you got a chance to.
Neil was in fine fettle. I didn't finish it.
I think like everyone... this happens one every 5 reviews, maybe more often than that, where it's just like, I wish everyone could hear this from Neil. Like everyone in the world who's interested in football should hear this. The way he was talking about West Ham setup and Lopetegui and how much of a fucking idiot he is, but
and the organization. I mean, he's been raking them all season, basically, since like game week 5 or something.
Yeah, and everything that he's been saying about them came to the fore in that match. It was a complete fucking joke. I mean,
they were worse than like Spurs.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they should have scored. I think the clean was fortunate.
Yeah,
but like Liverpool also could have scored 7, and that would have been like, oh yeah, West Ham didn't try and stop anything that they did all game, so that should come off. And it was
but ridiculous. I mean the clean was. I mean, if you just look at the whole game and see the chances from Western, but it was also 5-0 induced.
Oh, yeah.
They were didn't give a shit. So
yeah.
All their chances were when it was like 4-0 or 5-0. So
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, the level of domination was unbelievable.
And also like there's one of those things where when someone hits the post, it's like, oh, West Ham, we're so lucky to score. I mean, that was a fucking 0.01 XG chance from Kudus, that one that hit the inside of the post. It was like 25 yarder, whatever. So it gets a little distorted in our minds when it hits off the post, probably. But yeah, Liverpool are fucking good, dude. Fucking hell, we're good. Oh my god, we're the best.
Gakpo.
Gakpo, you've been shouting him.
He's a pick.
He started 7, I want to say. How many in a row has he started?
He scores like every game. He's almost like Isak. Isak like
he's like Isak if he were good.
Yeah,
is Gakpo. Yeah, I mean, as long as Jota is being managed, which he's still being managed, I think he only subbed on that early because it was fucking 5-0 destruction. Then yeah, Gakpo started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row, and 8 of the last 9.
He subs off a lot, but
forwards, I still don't know what to do with these kinds of picks. Gakpo, Diaz. I mean, Jota is obviously last on the list because he's still not fit enough to start until proven otherwise. But like guys who are going to start, let's just say 2 and 3, which is probably all of them. What do you do? How do you evaluate that kind of player in FPL? I still struggle.
I think you have a conflagration of a lot of different factors that make Diaz and Gakpo both very good. Like to me, I would put them 3 ahead of Trent. I would put Trent 4th. Just because I don't, he starts all the games. The cleans are dicey every game. And he scored a fucking deflected, lucky ass goal. I mean, he's not getting.
Gomez is out now.
Yeah, Jiminez is out now. So, I mean, he scores some lucky-ass deflected goal for 15. I mean, that just, that's a normal thing that goes out of bounds. He sits here at 6 points. I don't think I agree.
I'd still rather have Trent. I think he also is creating chances every single game. Like, it's like he could have 2 assists every game. That's the chances he's creating.
If so both a lucky chances, I think
a lucky goal is almost just that's the points he should have gotten from assists. You know what I mean? Like,
I just think the outlay for his price commensurate with other defenders
compared to NFO and Hall and Arsenal defenders.
I just don't feel very solid and expecting them to clean every other game, which is really what they need to do. They kind of need to keep that rate up for his price. And I think that the attack, I mean, look, they're scoring 4 and 5 basically whenever they want. So I'd rather have, I do believe that Gakpo Diaz kind of just emerged, like he found something here and they offer something. I mean, there are specific games perhaps where he would prefer Jota there, but the balance and the way, the amount of chaos that and when they interchange, and Diaz pulls left and Gakpo comes in, like they all profile really well together. And then the midfielders kind of coming in and, doing little bits behind them. And, it's just so much movement. So it's just a lot of action. And whereas Jota kind of is a little bit more of the, poacher and, one touch to hold up, but like smaller. I mean, Gakpo's height is really good to have in the team. And
it's worth reminding that he's been the manager for less than 6 months.
Sure.
And I think you're spot on when he just kind of stumbled into this. He tried it one time. Diaz scored a Champions League hat trick. Okay, maybe Darwin keeps starting the games and he hasn't been scoring or assisting, but we win every game Darwin starts. He plays.
You win every game no matter who starts. Let's be honest here.
Mostly.
You have one loss all year.
Yeah, one loss.
Cares
but there's a couple of draws in recent memory that were pretty bad. And yeah, he's trying here and there. And then you mentioned, Jota's hurt, other guys are hurt, blah, blah, blah. And he just stumbles into this, and it's working really, really, really well right now. So until proven otherwise, that's the front three. Yeah. And we're going back to, it's an interesting time too for the players, for the picks, right? Because we mentioned before, they have these Champions League basically dead rubbers. They're first in Champions League, 100% chance of going through, like 99% chance of being like a top 3, whatever seed. So they basically don't matter. So if you're building fitness and the front 3 is playing so well, wouldn't you just play like Jota Darwin and try Harvey and all this other shit in the Champions League games against real opponents? You still want to win, but you don't need to win, while just playing the best front 3 you can every, once a week. Now that the games are back to a normal-ish schedule, like, it makes sense. Makes sense on paper.
It's not even a question, really.
Yeah, it makes sense on paper.
Yeah, and you see, Gakpo getting subbed early on the card, just, protecting him there. And
protect that. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like you're going to be happy to have those 3 attackers right now for at least the next handful of games, and then reassess if anything dramatic changes. But it feels to me like this is, that's the way forward with Liverpool.
I guess the comparison would be, what are the other like forwards and midfielders that you could be getting, right? So I don't think someone like Isak is like comparable, right? It's like, he's so far and away, and they're not even close in the price bracket and all this other shit. But like, Wood, Endot, Ali, who else is like, people on?
To me, if you're wild carding, Mateta. It's probably supposed to be Isak, Gakpo, and Wood. Like, that seems like those are the 3 best forwards to me. And then in midfield, like, you have...
I can see that, yeah.
You have Mo and Palmer, who are obvious, and then you can pick anybody you want for the other 2 spots. Like, there's no clear third mid to me in the game. You can argue about a lot of different players. But, I mean, realistically, where I'm going with that is I think Diaz is, the clear third best mid. So, of those 2 spots, it's probably Diaz and Gordon. Like, those seem like Gordon, right now the best way to round out the midfield to me.
I'm just not that sure that I would put Gakpo ahead of other nailed guys on pens and shit. Yeah, I just don't think I would. Like, even someone like Mateta, it's like, Palace are going to score half the number of goals, but he's going to start twice as many games. So like, figure that math out. I don't fucking know. And pens are just fucking insane, So
yeah, well, he has like, maybe 0.25% of the pen. We don't know if he's on pens. I mean,
we don't know if he's 50-50 or what it is.
Yeah, I mean, really, or 0. He could have just taken that 1 or whatever. But realistically, who are these players that you're talking about? Like, it's Wood, who we already talked about, should be in. It's Isak, who we already talked about, should be in. It's Haaland, who's 15 million and fucking sucks. Watkins, who could get dropped at any moment when Duran's back in 2 games. Like, Wissa doesn't have pens. Strand doesn't have pens. Cunha has the fixtures. Like,
you can definitely make the case. I just don't think it's clear. I don't think wildcard team without Gakpo, I'd be like, well, you're missing a fucking obvious piece here, puzzle here with, you got to have Gakpo or something like that. I think it's like, he's good, but, I don't know. And then, like you said, a midfielder. So, it's Palmer, Mo are the most obvious picks in the game. And then, it's between like Gordon, I think Eze. We got to talk about Eze because he kind of like, finally hit the ball well and got a bunch of shots and looked a little bit more like himself, at least on highlights.
I thought he was pretty bad.
Okay. And then, Bowen broke his fucking foot and Semenyo's fallen off. I've shouted him to the moon and he's fucking dead. But there's just not that many guys.
Rodgers came in. He keeps coming in.
He's just fucking phenomenal pick that no one should have ever gotten rid of, I think.
No, who would ever get rid of Rodgers? Start the season, game week 1 Rodgers, get rid of him? Who does that? No one does that.
Same with Bumo. I mean,
no one does that.
And he's on the list. But yeah, you're right. There's not that many picks in the entire game that are clearly better than those picks.
Because there's something about, I think, just we always say, right, the whole season is a small sample size, but there are smaller sample sizes within the small sample size where you just kind of have to look at things where we get a transfer every week. We're not saying you pick Gakpo and you never get rid of him, but there's a wave of momentum between, really the only 2 teams in the league who look like anything up anywhere is them and Newcastle. So it's like, while they're doing this, until proven otherwise, or until they show me a reason why they will stop doing this, like I want them, I don't want a bigger share of Palace's maybe at best 2 goals a game and or whatever. Like I'm like, no, these teams can score 4 at any game. There are only a few picks. Like they are likely to have good, I just feel like it seems pretty clear. Yeah. And the fixtures.
So they're home Man United, phenomenal fixture. Away NFO, bad fixture. It still is. I don't care. At Brentford, home Ipswich, at Bournemouth, home Wolves, at City, like fucking home Newcastle, home. As long as these guys keep starting and you roll those dice, like it's gonna come up trumps more than not, right? Like you're gonna get points as long as they keep starting. So I'm with you. You talked me into it. Yeah, it's a good one. Good place to punt on, and phenomenal fucking team.
Yeah, like Gakpo is a huge differential. Nobody has Gakpo.
No one has that. I mean, do people even have Diaz? Or
he's starting to slowly make his way in. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people brought him in 2 games ago when he didn't play the Leicester game after the Saka injury.
Yeah.
I mean,
Saka injury,
he was on the short list of replacements there, but I think after last week and, people looking around, especially now that everyone that has Bowen is going to have to get someone else, they're like the same price. So that's going to probably be a very popular transfer. Right. People that have Rodgers banned, like they might be doing something there.
They might do something.
Know, yeah.
I mean, according to, this is the only way I know I even like look up this shit, but the elite teams, quote unquote, on live FPL, Diaz is 10.7% owned. And that's... No, Gakpo's obviously sub 1%, I think, probably.
That'll slowly climb.
Low. That's crazy low. But maybe
like I'm sitting here with
Enzo, with Ahmad, with Semenyo, Sarr. Like they're probably all looking to go fucking Diaz, right?
Yeah, like I'm sitting here with Odegaard, and I'll see how it goes on Wednesday. But I know he was had a flurry of 5 minutes where he looked like he might return, but that looks like that's just a mistake. I mean, you talk to me about minutes and pens all you fucking want. I don't give a shit. 100% of 0 pens is 0 points. Like they don't even go in the box. Like they just fucking pass around and kill the game after they score their set piece goal. I mean, it's like Diaz, meanwhile, just running riot all over the place, like unplayable. Whereas Odegaard's kind of like stitching play together. I'm like, God damn it, like that was that doesn't seem like a good deal for me. So
is so fucking good. It's crazy.
He's just so good. He's so sick.
He's just such a, and like there was a lot of people not worried, but like Mo had like is he getting older kind of smelly year last year, and like they never really figured out like Diaz, Gakpo, there were a lot of injuries, Jota, whatever, coming into the slot system. I remember a big talk was like, well, he needs like fucking best production in the league out of the wingers, or like the system's going to struggle. And it's just like, oh, well, Mo's having the best year of anyone's career, and Diaz is unbelievable, and Gakpo's doing all the shit he needs him to do. It's just working really well.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Where else are we going? I hate only watching highlights, I have to say. I feel like I don't know anything that happened. It's all you can do sometimes.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
We could jump to some questions, unless you want to talk about another specific game.
I'm sure all the
so
the
Catherine A said,
usually...
yeah, this is the first time doing questions in a long time. Catherine A said, is anyone considering Elanga? 4 returns in the last 4, even though his minutes haven't been that good. He's only 5-1. I think people are still maybe shopping in that cheap bracket. I mean, no, not really looking at him. And also, NFO are legitimately so good. And they just do the same thing every game. And they get a few big chances every game against every opponent. And he's usually involved in them. And it's a good job by them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think to me it's some, we've sort of missed this, but Jacob Murphy is not a joke. He was sort of a joke for a while because we didn't really rate him. Yeah. And I still don't really rate him. Yeah. But they are flying. And the positions he takes up, they were very left side heavy in the Manchester United game, more so it's maybe even than they have typically been, which, they're always going to do this because they have Hall and Gordon, and that's the strength of their team. But Murphy just getting in on the back post or the counter, and Manchester United were all sorts. I don't want to go on about reading their fucking obituary. We do it almost every fucking
it's crazy
pod. It's nauseating at this point.
It's boring.
Annoying.
It's just boring.
It's boring. And Hammer, and it doesn't seem like they got the right guy. Just the way that he's talks.
I was thinking about
what's wrong with you.
Yeah, a little side branch, but I was thinking about him a little bit when I was watching highlights and the post game or whatever. It was just like, everyone knows that, like, oh, Liverpool are like this really smart team that's really well run. Like, they passed on him, and like a few other teams passed on him. It's like, that should be a red flag.
How does he interview well? I don't get that, because he seems like he should just be. Yeah, he can't talk. I mean, and when he does talk, it's the worst shit you would ever want to hear your manager say.
It's just a red fucking flag that was clearly goddamn ignored, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Honesty is the best policy when you're in kindergarten, but it's not when you're talking to the media and you have to run an organization with all these employees. Like, there is a front that you have to put out to the outside world so that you don't get torn apart by the outside world. Like, has he not ever done any PR brief? It's like, it's insane. He's the dumbest, worst press conference manager I've heard since I've been following footy in 12 years or something. Like, every
Scott
time
Parker
he just says
something.
No, I mean, even Scott Parker, like, he just sits there and lies and everyone knows it, but he's not giving narratives to the media to destroy the club. Like, you just pointed, like, this guy said that you're in a relegation battle. So we don't have to write it like, are they in a relegation? It's like, yes, because the
manager
the owner said
he's
so.
Embarrassed.
Like,
what the fuck?
Like, that's not the thing. That's not that ain't it. Like, you don't do this stuff. And it's he's like, he needs to go back to little Portugal where no one fucking pays attention, I guess, to, like, I don't even know. And Sporting just whatever. Anyway, Jacob Murphy, great pick. He's just a great pick for right now. Not going to be a great pick for the rest of the season, but he's 5-1 and he's just falling into some goals. He falls into some really huge chances.
It's sort of a similar discussion, right? I mean, it's like, is he the season-long solution? Is he going to start every game? Or is projected minutes for the next 2 months 90 minutes game? Obviously not.
God, no.
Obviously not.
Is his projected minute is he ever going to play 90 minutes in a game?
No,
like,
well,
probably not.
never. But it even starts, right? But right now, where they're having their best period in 18 months, and he's starting every single one of them and returning for fun. And right before they play Spurs, Wolves, Bournemouth, Southampton, 2 of which are at home, Wolves and Bournemouth. Right now, he's a fucking pick. For 4 games, he's a fucking pick. And then reevaluate in February. January, he's a fucking goddamn pick. Yeah.
Great pick.
I like that shout. And I don't know how we got to Jacob Murphy off Alonga, but...
Well, they're the same price.
We're there. Yeah,
they're the same price. Because I'm sitting here with Enzo, and you know how I feel with that. This is the other fucking thing where I was like, I never know when to follow my own lessons, because it's like, I hate the player, but then I look and I'm just like 5'9", 5'9", 12, 5. I'm like, okay, whatever.
And then they blank against fucking
Then
Ipswich.
I get him in, and it's Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, blank, blank, blank. I'm just like, what's going on here? It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's insane for you that happened. I mean, he could have scored and could have assisted based on highlights.
Every game,
I mean,
basically every game that he's blanked.
Every game. Like, I don't think process-wise it was that wrong based on what he produced, but none of them turned into points, and now it's just like, fucking, what am I doing right now?
Yep.
I mean, Alonga is not bad. I just don't think he's great. The volume is still so small where if you're going to pick an NFO attacker, I mean, it's Wood. 100 places later, it's anyone else on the team, as far as an attacker goes, because the final actions always fall to Wood, whether he's scoring or assisting. The pens fall to Wood. The whole structure of their entire system is get the ball to Wood. And Alonga gets his maybe one chance a game on the break. But you don't really get players who get one chance a game in FPL. It's just not that great for future production. So he's on fire right now. He also has Liverpool in Game Week 21. Just doesn't feel great to me. And he might not start any time,
Yeah. He can always play pound shop, Jack Lad, Jota Silva.
Oh my
Seems
God.
to love him.
And I don't know when Cho's back, but he mixes it up sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, Gibbs White low-key has also been returning pretty steadily. Without the pens, it's a little tough, but
he was like close on my list early, like pre-game week 1 MGW, but I thought he was on pens, and now that he's not, it's a huge dent. Yeah, it's a huge dent.
Yeah.
Nordite said Ola Aina, best pick of the season so far, and then Kaz said, is it still worth to get Aina over Milenkovic? Aina's always getting the BAPS.
What's the price difference now? 0.4.
It's a fucking lot.
Yeah,
0.4. Maybe it's not that much. Yeah, Aina's worth it.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Bonus points are a lot more consistent than goals from corners, and he gets more bonus every fucking goddamn game.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're halfway through the year and Aina is the most points of all defenders in the game.
I mean,
tell me if you had that on your bingo card.
I know, that's kind of back to when we were talking about like ranking the Liverpool guys or whatever, and it's like, yeah, Trent's a great pick and he's gonna probably outscore most of the defenders, but when you compare him to 5-1 Aina, it's not worth it, right? Yeah. Like NFO's defense is fucking elite, and Aina's a god on bones. He had 15 bonus points in 19 games, and it's crazy. So yeah, Aina's phenomenal pick. X50, should we all own Hall? So here's your Lewis Hall section where you can go nuts. Like, is their defense actually good? That's the thing I still don't think I know or understand.
I think it's pretty clearly bang average. Like,
it's just like okay.
I mean, Manchester United should have scored a goal. I mean, they're coming off the back of playing Leicester and Ipswich.
Ipswich, Villa, who don't cross their own halfway line and got a red card, and Man United, who are in the relegation
really bad
battle
and should have scored. So, you know, I think that you're looking at a very mid-table defense, just like a Bournemouth or, you know, even like a Fulham. I think all these teams you can just kind of clump together.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. So then you have to look at fixtures.
Yeah, you have to look at fixtures. Well, he also does have the extra attacking shit. I mean, he actually was shooting for some reason in the Manchester United game where he usually never shoots. But I mean, I think like him and Anthony Robinson and even Aït-Nouri, I think you could probably throw Aït-Nouri in here now that they have a new manager who knows how to fucking manage a team. You know, these players who are really playing far forward in the final third a lot, these fullbacks, whether they're fullback, wingback. Wingback, you call it whatever you want. You know, even when, you know, Spurs or Fulham are playing with 3 at the back, the last couple, if they're going to go back to a back 4, I mean, Robinson was still getting very far forward. So then you look at these kind of picks where it's like, you know, to me, you know, you're doing, and maybe Muniz as well in this category, you can kind of just throw them all in your team and just play whoever's at home and just play the fixtures. And you're going to be getting points. Like, you're spending very little and you're getting a lot of points. Yeah. Seems great to me. Hall's great. I mean, he's on set pieces. He has great delivery on him. He's fast. Manager loves him. He's just
remember when he couldn't get a single fucking game last season?
Well,
has that been discussed enough?
Edward,
don't question everyone Edward in our Discord leading the way, being like, "Play fucking Hall. You don't have a left back. What the fuck is happening?" He
had Dan Burn.
He had Dan Burn.
Yeah, Dan Burn. Yeah, he's the left back. He's anything really you want him to be.
Really good point.
No, and this is like Edward is just, it's like he gets in his own way as long as possible until he does the most obvious thing after 6 months. And then he's like, oh, wow, this works. Like, and I don't know, it's like almost it feels to me like it's some type of Tyndall instruction of like, let's fuck it really bad so that we could do the most obvious thing we should have been doing since the first game and then look like geniuses like we figured it all out. I could see
Tyndall being an extremely negative influence on the team. I could see that very easily because he's like a fucking gym teacher, motivational kind of guy. And he's just saying, he's just saying all the English cliches in Edward's ear, like, you never fucking change a winning team. And Edward's like, yeah, I guess he's right because he's such a bitch. And then it's like, well, you should have changed the team. It was bad. Like,
there's something going on there.
There's something going on there. Their numbers defensively have obviously gotten a lot better because in this run they've basically conceded fucking nothing. Underlying wise, I'm talking about, but
they have. Yeah, I mean, there are 4 cleans on the bounce right now, which is
and they deserved them. But away Spurs, home Wolves with Cunha. We haven't mentioned the Cunha suspension, but fucking what a joke!
What suspension?
What a joke! Then home Bournemouth. Like, I don't really expect them to clean still in the.
I'm benching him for Spurs. I'm benching him for Spurs. And then you're happy to start him home Wolves, home Bournemouth, I think. Those are the kind of games
you start him, but I don't expect cleans. Like, they'll be,
They could get one clean in those 2 games.
They could. Yeah, and they could, but you don't expect them.
Yeah, and he could get you start him against Southampton, you start him home Fulham. Like, it's just a soup. Like, he's in that defender soup of, if it's a home game against a bottom 10 or even just bottom 15, you just play them,
14 or something.
Because they're capable of, completely destroying Wolves at home where Wolves don't even get in their half. That's possible.
Yeah.
Or it's an even game and it's, whatever. 2-2. Same with Bournemouth, so.
And that's the thing that makes him, and like you mentioned, like I think Muniz is a good example as well. Like, even if it's a 2-2, he could just get an assist and he's fine. And he gets a 4-pointer and you're just like, yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
Which is it's a great thing to have when you're starting.
Yeah, we're sort of entering into a very strange phase with Haaland, not being an option, where you could make your team just a 95 mil and you're fucking fine. Like, dude, you can. There's no expensive players in the game. There's just 2 expensive players that you have to have, and then
Palmer,
we're talking about sub 5 million defenders. Like, you can have a back line of Robinson, Hall, Munoz, 2 other guys. Who am I forgetting?
It's a really wild time. Yeah, because you're shitting on me for benching Milenkovic every week. I have Trent, Gabriel, Timber, and they're not benchable. And then I could also I had Mikalenko, who I also would have been benching for all of his cleans. Yeah. I don't have Hall, who I also would be benching behind those guys for all of his points. Like, I could have 8 defenders and they're all good picks.
Yeah.
It just, it's a hard one, how to balance it. I guess maybe people should be angling to get Haaland back. Maybe that is something that should be happening.
Why? He's terrible.
Yeah, he got an 8-pointer and could have had a hat trick against Leicester, and he has home West Ham and at Brentford and at Ipswich.
I don't know. I'm like,
if you have money,
I can't wait to get rid of him.
I know.
After Ipswich, it's time to have a hard look at this thing. I don't know where. Maybe a wild card. I don't know, but
yeah, after Ipswich, we'll see.
Yeah. Because they don't look like figuring it out. They look like they're going to just be struggling for the rest of the year. And,
it's annoying they're still in 6th place, because maybe it could have assistant managered them against Chelsea or something and gone for the
Papinho,
the huge upset. Yeah, but I don't know. Fuck them. D123 said I have 0 in the bank. Strand to Jim. Or just hold and play Strand after his random worldy. Holding Strand is bad.
Insane.
Especially without Cunha.
Yeah, that's without an absolutely Cunha, insane thing.
They
shouldn't function.
Are a relegation team.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that if you're a fucking, promoted side, supporter, and you see this Cunha shit, and he doesn't get suspended as they beat Leicester and beat Man United, and draw Spurs, you must be fucking ripping all your hair out of your skull and being like, what is this fucking bullshit? They get 7 points while this guy has a suspension hanging over him. They should have got fucking none of them, because without Cunha, they would never pick up any of these points.
Well, not only that, but what about the length of the ban? They suspended Betancourt for slandering his teammate for 10 games with his words. This guy literally physically assaulted someone on a different team, and he gets 2 games. How is that?
And one of them's in the FA Cup.
How is that? How are we doing that? What are we doing here? It just doesn't make any sense. That aside, you're spot on. All of that is such nonsense that the FA, all their fat white guys just taking a few days off and just not working. When I imagine you could spend have an hour Zoom meeting and say, my internet just froze. Am I going good?
You're good. I think you're still good. You could start your sentence over again, maybe.
I don't remember what I was saying.
You're saying these fat white guys having a Zoom meeting or something?
Oh, yeah. You have a Zoom meeting for an hour and you're like, this is the ban. You don't have to, what do you have to review? It's a 5-second clip. And then it takes 3 weeks.
That's crazy. There's also so much precedent, right? This has happened how many times?
Many times.
Past 20 years.
Oh,
you say,
God,
okay, blah, blah, blah did this and blah, blah, blah did this and blah, blah, blah did this. Here's the suspensions we gave him. Okay, Cunha, boom. There's a suspension.
Yeah, you want to appeal? Done. Great. Get the appeal paperwork in. Okay. 5 seconds later, fax back. This is the thing. Like we've been over this. Like why are there these mechanisms that, we're elongating or prolonging things? It's just,
and meanwhile,
it's absurd.
They beat Leicester, beat Manchester United, and
and that's the thing. That's the thing that's so much more aggravating to me about this is that they exist so that clubs can manipulate it to see like when is the best time for our player who just assaulted someone to miss a couple games. Like it's up to us because we know that the bureaucracy's cogs turn, slower than any other. Like it's like the fucking American government, how slow they turn. Yeah. And it's just like, why is that a thing? Like why can't it just be sensible? It's not that complicated.
We're joking about, Manchester United being relegation candidates, whatever. They're not going to get relegated, obviously. But if you looked at like gambling odds, Leicester are top 2 favorites to get relegated, and Manchester United are top 8 favorites to be relegated. And Wolves just beat both with Cunha. And Cunha, like Wolves should be the 4th team in a 4-team relegation race. Yeah, for sure. Yep. And they get these fucking 7 points. 7 points in a relegation race is fucking everything. Like that probably turned their odds from like 30% to 15% or something insane. And what it is.
Wolves will not be long for this world in the coming years, but it's very annoying. And you also I have to point out we're not joking about Manchester United being real. We're just making fun of them because their manager said they are. We're not manufacturing this. We're just just to be clear.
Yeah. We're just using his words, the leader of the team.
Yep.
Dean Adler said, "Who's your?" Oh wait, we didn't answer the Jim side of the question. I mean,
how about the other? How about
Jim before we starting?
Hold on. Before we go there, how about the balls on this little tiny guy coming over? He's been here for 5 minutes, and he said this is like the worst moment as a club ever. What authority does he have to say that? Like,
wait,
did you catch fucking little Portuguese guy, Amorim?
I didn't see that.
He said awesome. within that quote or in the same press conference, he said like this is the worst or hardest moment that this club has ever seen or something. And it's just, could you imagine?
The history of Manchester United?
I would be.
Is it harder than when they got relegated? I don't think it was harder than that.
This is supposed to be the guy. This is the guy. It's crazy. Sorry. So Jim, you were saying?
Yeah, I'm just surprised. He got rested in the Southampton game or, dropped or rotated, whatever. He comes back in. He's starting both games, even though Muniz is scoring off the bench. He gets his goal versus Bournemouth. He has home Ipswich, at West Ham, at Leicester, home Man United next 4. I mean, at this point, I'm like, yeah, he's the starter. Like, if Muniz didn't get a chance to start in that run, then I'm thinking, all right, yeah, it's just Jim is the starter, and I expect him to start all 4 games. And yeah, I mean, he's a good pick. If that guy was going to do maybe Strand out, I mean, Jim is a good option for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty low on Jim. I think this is a player unlike
even for
Gakpo.
These 4?
Yeah, I mean, this is a player unlike Gakpo where the hour matters, right? I mean, he's playing an hour every game. And, Fulham are not, they don't go run out and create a million chances. He's not Wood, where everything's funneling to him. Yeah. He usually does get a good chance a game, similar like you were kind of like in the Alonga mold, but he also just holds up and, stitches things together. But this, Fulham they're a good outfit. They play well, but, there are other, like, look, even like Ladro, he has Arsenal at home, which is bad, but then he has Ipswich, Man United,
Ladro's
Everton at home.
Better. Yeah.
But, I'm just saying, even like Delap is, they have some tougher fixtures. Like his name should be in there. Vardy's name should be in there. I just don't know. I think
the thing that makes it hard,
the hour's a big problem.
But the thing that makes it hard for, I forget who wrote back. D123. He said he has 0 in the bank. Strand's 5-5.
Those are 4 points that you'll be happy to contribute to the field, I think, to do something different.
Donate to the field charity.
Donate 4 points to everyone else and get someone that you're going to be happy with when you look at your team in 3 game weeks. Because I think
that's fair. I agree with that. Like you're going to be looking back at Jim, no matter really what he does, and be like, fuck, I need to fucking change shit again.
Yeah, I mean, it's
very soon.
I mean, just look at his history, right? I mean, he scored against Bournemouth. He's 3 blanks in a row with 1 non-start. Scored against Arsenal, 3 blanks in a row with 1 non-start. I mean, he's playing well this season and he's doing a lot, but it's a lot of like softening up. And then Muniz comes in, and Muniz is clearly someone they want to work with.
Player.
Like, he's not old, he's next. Yeah. So,
and the Jim run of scoring 3 straight, returning in 5 straight is a long ass time ago. Really long.
Yeah, I mean, he's not getting younger, and there's a lot of incentivization for Muniz to play more. So, look, I mean, you are looking at maybe wildcarding soon, and you need someone, they have a few good fixtures.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, he could not start any of those games for me.
For sure. But I think that like the evidence we have is like he'll start at least 3 out of 4 with a decent chance of 4 out of 4.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But yeah, I don't know. Jim's like, if Jim didn't score, is anyone talking about him? Like, if that was his 4th blank in a row.
No.
And I think that's important because...
And also, furthermore, if he doesn't score in any of the next 4, is anyone surprised? And the answer is obviously no.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are the kind of questions that you want to ask yourself and just be honest about. Because if that sways you, then you might want to go for someone more secure.
Like
but Paul, you can also say...
Well,
big sexy over there. but yeah, I mean, you can also look at those things and say, yes, all of those things are true. And I want to gamble because the fixtures are so good. Fine. You can go for it. Yeah.
So Teacup said, fuck me, our Gakpo and Quansah picks. We talked about Gakpo. Quansah is just not a pick.
It's just not. I mean, he's 3'9", so you can't say not a pick.
I like him. It's nothing even against him, but like you saw the decline in clean sheets and defensive performances when we went from Konate to Jiminez. Now we're going another level deeper, another level thinner. I'm just like, it's even more temporary because we don't know when Konate's back still. And it's just like, well, what are we doing? If they had like absolute clean bankers, next 3 or 4, I'm like, yeah, I guess, but like 2 away is like, it's just not an option.
I think he's a pick. I mean, he's 3'9". Like,
you're gonna regret it in like
I'd rather
3
have him
weeks.
than Greaves.
Well, fucking yeah, but then
hell, I know.
But then 3 weeks from now, you're going to be like,
defenders.
I have a Liverpool defender that I must get rid of because I want another pick.
That's possible.
Urgent. He's going to Rushworth you if you get him. So you just
wait, Rushworth? Blessing in disguise. He's prevented me from going down very bad paths. So I'm happy to have
Rushworth. And
there's a reason why I kept Carl instead of Flappy. I mean, he's like my fucking mascot. I love Carl Rushworth. He's my boy.
You're about to fly with him. You've all said, is Eze back on the menu? So again, I only watch highlights. You watch that whole game. So why was he bad in your mind? Because his numbers were good. His goal was good. He took a lot of shots like he used to do, but he was bad.
Yeah, I didn't see him playing any really markedly different, and he was kind of just like consistently and continually behind the play.
Was it kind of the Mateta Sar forward thing again? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, everything was there. He was like the late joiner to when we did happen to have a few sustained, pressure moments. But
top of the box kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, he did do 1 or 2 sprints that I could tell, which was 1 or 2 more than I've seen him do in the last month or 2, which was very encouraging. But ultimately, I just, he wasn't really dribbling players much like he usually does. And, he really just didn't take control of the game in any way, shape, or form. He was kind of just a participant, which is uncommon with him. So, I still am very far away from saying like, oh yeah, Eze's back. He looks just like we're used to him seeing it. It just still doesn't look like that to me. Yeah. And, again, right, he took they'll get fucking blocked. Like his one goal is just some broken bullshit thing that he just banged into the corners. Like, yeah, fine, a broken play, but it's not like he's, he had a decent chance earlier in the game. I think that he fucked up, but that's just what he's been doing all year. So, I'm still pretty down. And look, I know we play Leicester in a couple game weeks, but we don't play Southampton at home again this year, this season, as far as I can check. So, it doesn't feel the best to me with him, honestly. I mean, Sar seems still like so much more dangerous, like cheaper, not even close, more
dangerous, more forward,
not even close, like not remotely close. And Eze's also like
I'm
not taking
kind of
set pieces
too.
Yeah, Mateta was interesting. I mean, Bednarek should have had about 6 yellow cards. I think he only got 1 somehow. His captain's armband, I think the ref talked to him about 3 times to tell him like the next one or whatever it is that refs tell them, and he just never booked him. But Mateta bossed. He was just the out ball. He held everything stuck to him. He played really well, but he didn't get really any chances. It was, I mean, Sarr was Sarr was the one, and Munoz had the best goal scoring chance again for us and probably for all defenders in the game this week that he fucked up, which he's good at that because he's a fullback. But
Munoz is a fucking goddamn pick.
Munoz
oh my
is just
god!
insane.
Like they have Chelsea this week, and Chelsea we could laugh at them. They lose against Ipswich, whatever. But like, I still don't want to start Munoz, against Chelsea. But from after Chelsea on, holy shit! I mean, I feel like everyone should be getting him.
Yeah. I almost hit him in this week, and I did not.
I'm really happy you didn't do that after he got fucking abused by KWP.
I mean, it would have only been a -2 because I wouldn't fucking have Anderson, but I'm looking at trying to get him in for Anderson.
Like 21.
Soon. Probably like I'm thinking of like doing an Odegaard, Anderson, like Gordon, Munoz, switching those guys seems fine, and just stubbornly just sitting here with Enzo, hoping it comes
and just
good
having
eventually.
like 4 million in the bank or some shit.
Well, I have nothing in the bank.
I know, but after those moves, you go Odegaard down to Gordon is what, 2 million, right, or something?
No, it's like 0.9 or 0.6 or something. It's like barely enough.
Oh,
Odegaard's 8.3 and Gordon keeps going up. What's Gordon? 7.6?
Yeah, you're right. 7.4 and 8.4 right now, but not when you got him.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have a little in the bank, but Munoz just keeps getting enormous chances
every single game. It's really wild. Last question was Voltaire. He said, "Who's the best forward between Wood and Watkins?" I'm already on Isak. I mean, we knew Ollie had pens. I guess some people didn't know that. They weren't paying attention because he hasn't been playing and he hasn't taken one in a while. But we kind of knew he was on pens. He got another pen. Duran, I don't know what the fuck's going on with Duran because he's suspended for the red, but then there's also this like fucking 20-man Royal Rumble between like Tyndall and the assistant, and Duran was apparently involved in that, so he's like also being charged by the FA or something. I don't know how it's going to shake up, but there's a chance that Ollie just is like starting every game for a little while. And some of the fixtures are bad at Everton and at Arsenal. But they also have home Leicester, home West Ham, at Wolves, home Ipswich. If you get him for those 4, I mean, you're pretty fucking happy, I guess.
Yeah, it's just how many of these types of picks do you want to put in your team? I mean, he's not cheap. I know we were talking earlier.
Expensive.
If you don't have Haaland, you probably have money to do whatever the fuck you want. But I mean, it's like, I don't know. Yes, there's a world where Duran doesn't play again until February or whatever, but Watkins is still like kind of was bad before Duran even was starting. Like we were getting rid of him when he was starting because he was bad and he missed a good chance again, like sort of like Eze, just like what he's been doing all year. And he scores a pen. Great. He got an assist. Like, I mean, he's fine, but it still feels like a punt to me when, there are other better picks out there.
I just think if you look at
I'd rather have Gakpo.
I wouldn't.
Really?
I would.
I would.
Like if you look at the games where Ollie's like supposed to have returned, not including the games where he didn't start, like home Southampton, whatever, he didn't start, but like home Wolves, home Everton, home Brighton, home Brentford, he just fucking hauled in all of them. Well, at least a goal and a few double digits in there too, and he's just been like kind of predictable, I think, more than we're giving him credit for, and you just look at home Leicester again, like, I expect him to like 6 to 12 points. Dude, again.
He was just dropped for a month. Like he was literally dropped and you're like, you're the backup. So like, that's a big factor that wasn't happening before. So you can also be looking at this as like, Duran just leapfrogged over him and he's just going to be starting again when he's back from his suspension.
Well, which I just don't know. I just don't know
you're
what the
mudded
deal is.
If that happens.
You're fucked if that happens. But I mean, he's right off the home Brentford double return. Then he doesn't start for 4 games in a row. Comes back, gets another double return. It's just like, he's still good. He's still going to produce lots of shots,
underlyings and shit,
and underlyings every time he plays. So
yeah. I guess you have to ask you, like, is he the third best forward in the game? Like you put Isak and Wood probably 1-2, right? It seems like we're both on that. Do you want him, over all the rest of the forwards?
And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, not for me.
But it's a matter of price. I mean, I'd like to see that team
also.
price and preference, but I just don't.
The answer
could
be
yes. be constructed in a very specific way with like your cheap backline and no Haaland to be able to afford that, Isak, Ali, and while having like, obviously Mo Palmer and, not dog shit third and fourth midfielders. Like you also have Gordon and you also have Diaz or something. Like that's a really specific configuration that I think a lot of people can't get to without like 5 moves. Because most people are still on 1 or 2 Arsenal defenders or Trent or whatever.
I mean, I think it's very affordable to have a team like that. It's just how far away are you from it?
Yeah, and I think most teams, my guess would be pretty fucking far because that's the thing with those defender picks, right? It's like, yeah, you could get rid of like fucking Timber, but what are you making? 1 million max, pretty much, right? So, it's hard. Yeah. So I guess we're still pretty far, I guess, from like, game week 20 actually beginning. So we'll do that maybe on Thursday, right? On Friday My Life.
What?
Do our teams.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not doing much. I mean, I have 1 free. I'm either going to save or just do some little, maybe I do the Odegaard move, but I'm probably just chilling.
I'm probably saving too. Only thing I don't know is who I'm going to cap. I think everyone in the world should be capping Mo. What is that?
Always a fun weekly segment from you now that you don't have Mo.
Yeah. So it's obviously Mo if you have Mo. I think owners of Haaland will be tempted to captain Haaland. I'm still not. He's still just not a captain pick for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think the clear second best option this week is Isak, but you don't.
Who I might get. No, I might get him this week.
If you get Isak in, then I think that's a very, very clear second best captaincy option here.
Yeah, and we haven't really talked about City, and I don't really want to talk about City, but I know that his numbers were good against Leicester, and he looked more like himself, and he got tons of shots and got a goal. But like, I have no faith that that's just how they're going to play from here on out, and that's the reason why I don't think he's picked. Like, they could just go home West Ham and just go back to fucking Bilv and Control and Jack, and no one's fucking surprised, and they create nothing, and he gets 1 shot. It's like
very reasonable to see or think that could happen.
Yeah, he's just not on my list.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin is the biggest.
What the fuck?
He's like low key the biggest issue because he's just can't play. Like he can't do anything. Yeah. He can't do any of the things that he used to be able to do. And I don't know if it's like he wasn't training for so long, so they didn't know how bad he was.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that he's still here and relied upon to this extent is a huge problem.
Huge issue.
Huge issue.
Yeah, his athleticism has completely fallen off, and he can still pass, but he can't like run with the ball like he used to, and beat a guy he used to.
Yeah, he can't get into positions to pass and make threats because he can't run. He's he's a big problem, and I don't know. I just don't know where it goes from
really
here.
Curious what they do in January. They might make a big move or something, just to even just not for a title race, just to make sure they make Champions League.
Yeah. I mean, they're very much in threat. I mean, if it goes to 5 places this year, it would be nice for them, but they're very much in threat to not make Champions League this year. That is for sure.
What are they on? They're on 31 points. Liverpool, Arsenal, I would include Chelsea are fucking definitely. And then NFO's 6 points out of them. Newcastle's 1 point out of them. Bournemouth, Fulham, Villa, all right behind them.
Yeah. They need to do. I think they need to do a couple things in January, but who knows what all the charges. And
they haven't made a big January move in a really long time because they've
never had to.
They never need to.
Yeah. They need to get Bergwijn in there, some guy, some January savior. Where's Dan James these days?
Yeah, we'll find him.
He loves the January. He loves the January move.
Yeah, some laundering will happen.
Yeah. They're just gonna sign like Cunha and Eze or something and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean they could. They absolutely could do that. I think that's basically a pod, and unless there's something else you want to talk about.
No, I'm sure we're forgetting one or two little.
I'm sure,
little
but
diddles,
it's fucking. It's December 31st, so
yeah, it's a New Year's pod.
It's a New Year's pod, and we'll be back on Thursday, back to like normal-ish schedule. So that'll be nice.
Yeah.
And we'll take it from there. So let me slap an ass. We got one new sign up, Isaac Enskog. The ass, baby, get in there.
Oh, what about the cup?
Oh shit, the cup. So it's game week
when are we...
20 incoming. It'll start either game week 21 or 22. I think is usually what we've done in the past, right? So. We got to talk and figure that out. But look out, all Patreon subscribers or anyone who wants to subscribe and be a part of the FMLPL Cup. It's going to come soon.
21 would be probably a good time to start it because we have a big gap between 20 and 21.
Yeah. Okay. We gotta talk to Charlotte.
Our organizational standpoint, just to have an extra, have like an 8-day break.
Yeah.
So we don't feel rushed.
That's good. All right, let's shoot for 21 and take it from there.
Okay.
Any last words?
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Happy New Year. Check us out at fmlpl.com. Follow us on Twitter, fmlpl.com/fmlpl. Subscribe, rate, review.